a.m. in the courthouse meeting room 2, northeast corner, 3rd floor, with 3 members present. Would you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, following down our agenda here is notice to the public. The Board of Supervisors welcomes comments from the public during the time allowed for discussion. You are requested to approach the microphone, state your name for the record, and limit the time used to present your remarks in order that others may be given the opportunity to speak. The normal process on any agenda item is for the chairperson to read the item from the agenda, and the board is given an opportunity to comment on the issue and or place a motion on the floor. An opportunity for discussion may be presented, at which time the public may participate, and a roll call vote will follow. The first item that we have is the approval or the amendment of the agenda. The chair would entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I motion that we approve the agenda as printed.
And I would second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the agenda as printed. Any discussion? If not, roll call vote, please.
Can you turn your microphone on, please?
Sorry.
Slosik.
Yes.
Patton.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 2, the consent agenda. We approve the minutes from regular session of June 13, 2017. Item 3 is to accept manure management plan update, PLC, LLC, ID number 63758, annual report or update report received and placed on file with the following changes to the manure management plan. Acres added, change in crop rotation or ultimate yields, and using manure analysis for determining application rates when applying manure. 4, approved transfer of funds. This is transfer number 882, a quarterly transfer from Rural Services Fund to Secondary Road Fund in the amount of $482,500, but not to exceed the maximum allowed in Iowa Code 331.429, subsection B. Transfer number 883, an annual transfer from LOST review or revenue, and the Rural Services Fund to the Secondary Road Fund in the amount of $833,804.34. Transfer number 884, an annual transfer totaling $1,127.85 from Urban Renewal Tax Revenue Fund to Low to Moderate Income Housing Fund. Approved claims as audited and authorized by the county auditor and recorder to issue payment of the same. The listing of claims paid at this meeting and all claims paid in the month June will be published as part of the first meeting in July. At this time, the chair would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I would make a motion to approve the consent agenda as printed.
Mr. Chairman, I will second that motion.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? If not, roll call vote, please.
Slosik.
Yes.
Patton.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion is passed. Item number 6, approve personnel action. Change of status, change of rate of pay, Kent Hayes, Secondary Road Department, full-time, change of status from TD2 to TD3, change rate of pay from $23.88 per hour to $24.18 per hour, effective June 27, 2017. The chair would entertain a motion on that.
Mr. Chairman, I motion that we approve the personnel action, changing the rate of status to a rate of pay for Kent Hayes Secondary Road from truck driver 2 to truck driver 3, change rate of pay from $23.88 to $24.18, effective June 27, 2017.
And I would second.
It's been moved and seconded. At this time, is there any discussion? If not, roll call vote, please.
Slosik.
Yes.
Patton.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Motion is carried. Going on to item number 7. This is the Marshall County Crime Stoppers. And Mark is here to present some items here. If I knew you were first, if I'd have thought
right.
about that, I'd have helped you out a little bit. You can take that
Looks
off
like
and
it's
hold
on.
it if you want.
No, I think that's fine. Thank you. I'm Mark Osmondson, and I'm here representing the Marshall County Crime Stoppers. First of all, I'd like to thank the supervisors for the opportunity to present information today on the Marshall County Crime Stoppers Public Safety Camera Project. As you're aware, the Marshall County Crime Stoppers Board has been extensively investigating the use of public safety cameras in other communities and how these cameras have assisted law enforcement to prevent and solve crimes. Our board learned that to implement a grid of safety cameras in Marshall County, there would first need to be a back room, so to speak, of equipment to allow cameras to tie in to and be able to grow an integrated safety camera network that would help protect the entire county. Presentations have been made to your board, the City of Marshalltown, and several communities on startup equipment. The initial cost of the equipment is approximately $60,000 and would be purchased locally from Raycom. Raycom has extensive experience in camera system networks like this, most notably in Dubuque County, where they began with 12 cameras just 10 years ago and have since, due to numerous crimes being solved and avoided, expanded to over 1,600 cameras. The Marshall County Crime Stoppers Board has proposed the initial funding of the startup equipment cost to be split into thirds among the Marshall County Crime Stoppers Board, the City of Marshalltown, and Marshall County. Currently, Marshall County Crime Stoppers and the City of Marshalltown have committed to up to $20,000 each to get the backroom equipment startup system funded. Therefore, the Marshall County Crime Stoppers Board respectfully requests the Marshall County Board of Supervisors allocate funds for the remaining $20,000. In addition, we will continue to work with communities in the county to help them identify ways to be a part of the safety camera network. Grant funding possibilities have also been discussed to help them fund cameras and equipment. Thank you for your consideration of this public safety project. We'll be happy to answer any additional questions that you might have.
Okay, thank you, Mark. I'm going to ask our sheriff, Mr. Steve Hoffman, who is the expert on crime within our county thing here. Steve, would you come forth and Steve's got an idea that he wants to share with us this morning.
Thank you, Mr. Patton. As you're aware, from the inception of the Crime Stoppers program, we've received an incredible response from the Marshall County community from the beginning of the program. The tips that have come in through the program have indeed led to solving crime, and in today's technological age, we oftentimes rely on other technologies to help solve crimes as our investigative methods have changed over the decades, and we certainly rely on video from these times from businesses and residences and other places that we can gain video access. I think this is an important technological advance and an opportunity for all of Marshall County. With the public meetings that Crime Stoppers hosted, we received, I should say they received, very positive feedback from outlying communities, and it's my thought and belief that assisting and supporting the development of this back room, the backbone for this program to operate, will be integral to getting this program moving forward. And I believe there'd be significant delay if we didn't participate in this as a partner. And to be clear, this program is not a speed camera project or a traffic light project. We're talking about safety cameras. So that would be the measure that I would support in advance. And obviously it had been suggested prior that if I would find room in my budget to support this program, and through some management over this past fiscal year, we do have that opportunity to move that forward out of this last fiscal.
So with your support, the $20,000 then can come from your department of county government to the Crime Stoppers at the level of $20,000.
That's correct.
Okay.
Steve,
I just
Steve, I have a
want,
question.
would you say that again, please?
I have a question. Is it going to come out of your fiscal 16-17 budget or your fiscal 17-18 budget?
This current budget.
Okay, 16-17. One other question. I know one of the things I've kind of had a stickling point on this was some of our rural communities stepping up to the plate and wanting to be able to tag onto this program. Can you tell me where you are with those rural communities and what communities have expressed an interest and a commitment?
That would probably be a better question for Mark. I don't have the list ahead of me, in front of me, but there have been a number of communities that met with us, and they're in the beginning stages of examining the financial aspect to be able to support this program as well as the grant opportunities. Mark?
Thank you, Dave. That's a good question. We have had meetings with most of the area communities, and I brought with me today, I have letters of support from 4 of the communities that we have talked to. Melbourne, State Center, Haverhill, and let's see, Melbourne, State Center, Haverhill, and I guess that's it.
Albion?
No, I don't have the Albion. But anyway, those are people, we sent out an email last Friday asking for letters of support, and those are the people on such short notice that have been able to respond to us. In addition, we're going to be meeting with the Ferguson City Council on July 10th to explore the possibilities with Ferguson, what it will take, funding options, those sorts of things. We've also had conversations with a representative from Gilman. They're interested in implementing some type of camera system. They're wanting to make some improvements in one of their parks, and they've had some vandalism issues, and we think that this will take care of that vandalism issue. So we've talked to quite a few people, and the response from the smaller communities has been outstanding. I mean, they look at the backbone as an opportunity for them to implement a safety camera system in their community, which otherwise would be prohibitive if they had to purchase all of the remaining equipment. Under the current scenario, the cameras and a small recording device in their community will get them started and tie them in with the backbone.
Well, Martha, I sure appreciate you going out to those smaller communities. Until you had the support from the smaller communities, I wasn't real half up on my support for this, but I'm certainly willing to give this 100% support if the other small communities are also going to utilize this system. My other question is, have you raised the $20,000 from Crime Stoppers, or is that in the process?
We have not raised the money yet. We do have some money in our budget, but we don't want to dip into that because it was allocated for our tips. But we will immediately begin our fundraising campaign, and we feel confident that we can raise that $20,000 as our portion of the 1/3 commitment.
Okay.
Are there any other questions? Any other things that you want to say before we?
None. Any other questions from you?
I'd kind of like a way for us to tie our funding of this into not paying it out until we receive the commitment from all the other entities.
The money from the $20,000 that Sheriff Hoffman wants to give needs to go out during and before this week is over to make it easier for the records, Dave.
Okay.
And in fact, that's his money, his budget, and his decision, yep. and so we already put that on the bills this morning. And,
okay, I understand.
So, any anything else, but I understand what you're saying, and I think we need to continue to support this so that these other towns can participate in this. Otherwise, we just drive the criminals out of Marshalltown, out into the area, and they either stop at a small town or Patton's Farm, you know. So, that's a concern that I have. So, anyway, we appreciate you working on that, though.
I'm certain, as with any other 501c3, that Crime Stoppers would honor the designation of these funds specifically earmarked for the camera project. And we could make that obviously a contingency on the bequest of those funds.
Very good. Very good. Anything else?
Well,
David.
obviously, we have the full support and willingness of the sheriff to fund this, and because of that, if we're done with discussion, I'll be happy to make a motion.
Do we even need to make a motion in this case?
I think we need a motion, at least showing our support in the sheriff in using his funds for this purpose. What's your take there, David?
I believe it'll send a proper message if we do.
Okay. Okay.
That being said, I motion that we approve this funding request from the Marshall County Crime Stoppers in the amount of $20,000 for the startup equipment for the use of the safety cameras to come from the budget of the Marshall County Sheriff.
And I would second.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion?
No, sir.
Roll call vote, please.
Slosson.
Yes.
Patton.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Okay. Motion is carried. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you for your time.
Yep.
Steve, thank you for your support. And thank you for all of you who have come to support this issue. Appreciate that. Going on to item number 8. Accept the Central Iowa Community Services supplement to the Marshall County Employee Manual for CICS, funded positions, discussion, and possible action to accept the CICS supplement to the Marshall County Employee Manuals for CICS funded positions. Jill, do you have anything you'd like to say? Jill's our go-to gal and expert in this area.
Good morning. What you have in front of you is the Central Iowa Community Services Supplement to the County Employees Manual. So this is a supplement to the Marshall County Personnel Policy that the 3 of our employees in Marshall County are under, but it does recognize that we're part of the Central Iowa Community Services, and as that says, for the CICS funded positions, 2 of us are funded at 95% out of the region and 1 is 100% out of the region. So that's what brings this policy into it. Policy outlines, and I think Supervisor Patton, you were on this committee, along with the HR Director of Story County and people across the region. And so what this does is it outlines the coverage for this manual, the employment practices for the CICS positions, the statement of understanding that we do each year, and that'll be coming up, and that acknowledges from the county and the region the % of our time that is funded out of the region. It talks a little bit about the conflict resolution policy, and why that came to be is we have that type of thing if it's all within Marshall County, but if there's some conflict within the region or whatever, then it would go to the regional policy versus just your local personnel policy. And then it does include the wage compensation and wage policy, along with other training, mileage things, and then workplace conduct. So it does supplement the Marshall County personnel policy for the 3 of employees in Central Iowa Community Services here.
And that's the way I understood it.
That's right.
It's there, and it adds meaning to the people who actually work in that area.
That's
but you're
right.
still our employee.
That's correct, yes.
You still work under our handbook.
Yes.
And we've got a 10 county area that makes up this region, and I think that part has been working real good.
It has been.
And we're trying to kind of fill in the spots here so that we don't have things not being understood. And this is an attempt to supplement the personnel handbook
correct, yeah.
to do that.
That's correct.
So,
So,
at this time, if there's, I don't mean to cut you short.
no, that's fine.
Okay.
Nope.
The chair would entertain a motion to accept this.
Mr. Chair, I'd make a motion to accept the CICS supplement to the Marshall County Employee Manual for CICS-funded positions.
Is there a second?
Mr. Chair, I will second that.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion?
No, sir.
If not, roll call vote, please.
Solosik.
Yes.
Patton.
Yes.
Thompson. Thompson.
Your vote, Mr. Thompson.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion has passed. Okay, we're moving on then to item number 9. Service agreement for Marshall County Public Health and Unity Point Health renewal, Marshalltown, formerly Central Iowa Healthcare. The discussion and possible action on approval of an agreement between Unity Point Health, Marshalltown, formerly known as Central Iowa Healthcare, Marshall County Public Health, and Marshall County providing services to the residents of Marshall County and home care services area. This agreement is effective July 1, 2017 through June 30th, 2018. And I've been working back and forth with Unity Health on this, and they're very busy people, obviously, at this point. There's lots of things they're doing. I found the people that I was working with to try and get this thing back to us so that we can approve it. I found them very helpful, very nice. And I just want the community to know from my part that I think we got an opportunity here for our hospital to thrive down the road. And I think that's important. We actually, we need that in our community very much. And from my little part here, I certainly have found the people that I work with very good, very knowledgeable, busy, but very helpful. So with that, I would accept a motion at this time then to accept this agreement.
Mr. Chairman, I motion that we approve this agreement effective July 1st, 2017 through June 30th, 2018 between Unity Point Health and the Board of Health in Marshall County for services provided to the residents of Marshall County and the home care service area.
And I would second.
Been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion?
I would like to just make a comment that I've gone through the contract agreement, and they are under the same exact terms as they were the previous year. And I would also like to add to Bill's comments that they have been wonderful to work with and looking forward to a good relationship with Unity Point.
If there's no further discussion, roll call vote, please.
Solosik.
Yes.
Patton.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion is carried. Item number 10, Resolution 2017-0035. This is the Marshall County Employees Deferred Compensation Plan. Now, I'm going to read through this here, and just so that everything is brought forth. But whereas Marshall County hereby amends, reestablishes, and reaffirms the Marshall County Deferred Compensation Plan as established on the 4th day of August 1976, pursuant to Section 457 of the Internal Revenue Code, including all current revisions. And whereas the purpose of the plan is to attract and retain certain individuals by permitting them to enter into agreements with the employer, which will provide for the payment of deferred compensation on retirement or separation from service, as well as death benefits in the event of death before or after retirement. And whereas the Personnel Committee is now recommending that the board acknowledge Wells Fargo Advisors as agent for Capital Guardian Trust, Ing Retirement Services Incorporated, Northwestern Mutual Life Insurance Company, and Nationwide Retirement Solutions Incorporated as the deferred compensation programs for county employees. Now, therefore, be it resolved that Wells Fargo Advisors as agent for Capital Guardian Trust, Inc. Retirement Services Incorporated, Northwestern Mutual Life Insurance Company, and Nationwide Retirement Solutions Incorporated be authorized to act on the board's behalf in the administration of the deferred compensation plan. And I was going to ask Deanne, do you have any further comments, or is this pretty straightforward?
This is kind of a cleanup too.
Okay.
One thing we noticed is that this hadn't been done in quite a few years, and so my office had been using all 4 of these, but nothing had been on an actual resolution. So we just wanted to do a little cleanup, put it out in the public as to what is being deferred and what companies Marshall County is currently using. So.
Okay. Is there any questions from the supervisors?
No.
David, did you hear everything okay?
I did, and I have no question.
Okay. Then dated on Marshalltown, Iowa, this 27th day of June 2017, the chair would entertain a motion to adopt this resolution.
Mr. Chair, I would make a motion to adopt this resolution number 2017-0035, Marshall County Employees Deferred Compensation Plan.
Is there a second?
Mr. Chairman, I would second that motion.
Thank you. If there's no further discussion, we'll proceed to vote. Roll call vote, please.
Solosek.
Yes.
Patton.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion is carried. Resolution number 11, 2017-0036, resolution providing written notice of withdrawal from the 28E agreement between the Marshall County Joint Service Board and Marshall County, Iowa regarding operation of the Marshall County Public Safety Communications Center. Whereas Marshall County, Iowa approved resolution 2010-0028 on December 21st, 2010 to create a 28E agreement between Marshall County Joint Service Board and the City of Marshalltown regarding operations of the Marshall County Public Safety Communications Center, filed with Iowa Secretary of State Office file number M503649. And whereas the Marshall County Joint Service Board, also known as the Marshall County E911 Board, has recently discussed the possibility of using the county emergency management tax levy as an additional funding source for E911 operations, particularly to fund personnel salaries, benefits, and the like. And whereas the board has determined to make budgetary sense for the county as well as financial sense for all residents of the county to better and more evenly distribute the cost of E911 services, and whereas said funding source would require the creation of a communications commission to oversee the operations of public service communications within Marshall County, resulting in a conflict with the current 28E agreement, and whereas Article 12 of the current agreement provides that termination of the 28E agreement governing operations or operation of the Marshall County Public Service Communications Center shall be effective at the beginning of the fiscal year following 12 months written notice of withdrawal from other parties of the agreement. Now therefore, be it resolved by the Marshall County, Iowa Board of Supervisors, the Board of Supervisors are hereby directed to provide notice in writing to all parties to the current 28E agreement of Marshall County, Iowa's intent to withdraw from the current 28E agreement as of July 1, 2018. Said writing shall be transmitted no later than June 28, 2017. Okay, what this is amounting to, we're not doing away with E911. Had a number of people ask me, all right, well, what are you doing? You're doing away with this. Absolutely not. 911 is a very important part of our community service. People's lives are affected by this. We need a new 28E agreement between the city and between the county so that we can make some changes so that E911 will be effectively and efficiently run for years yet to come. And to do that, our old or our current E28 agreement says that you have, if you're going to change it, you have to make this done and then it isn't going to happen for 1 year. So if we do it now, it's not going to happen until the next year. In the meantime, we are currently in the process of creating a new 28E agreement to replace this. So want to assure everyone in this room and everyone in our county, 911 is not going away. 911 is going to be better. So that's this whole process. It sounds confusing when you read it. It sounds overwhelming and say we're throwing it out the window, but that's not the case. So, Kim, do you have anything that you'd like to say about it? Or Kim's been working with us on this too.
Kim Elder, Marshall County Emergency Management Coordinator. Just like Bill said, we've been working for a long time to figure out what the best way to improve our 911 system is. The Code of Iowa has changed, so things that we have in the 2080 currently are not going to apply anymore, and the funding source that we have has gradually dwindled because the state gets more of the funding from our telephone services, landline and cell phone services. So we had to research and look at other counties, what they were doing, and that's basically what we've been doing is looking at other options. There is the option of what's mentioned in here, the levy that's through emergency management. That's how I got into it more and to understand it more. Visited with a lot of emergency managers throughout the state that use it. It's a much easier, I think, cleaner way to put it out there to the communities and say this is what you're getting charged for 911. So it's a better way for us to fund a very essential service. So we're, like Bill just stated, we've been working, we've had several drafts already that, again, we all look at and we change and we send them on to attorneys, and we've done that again, and we'll do it several times, I'm sure. But it does take that year for us to do what we're doing now, and by then, hopefully we'll have a new 2080 and be able to move forward with the levy too. So.
Thank you.
Yep.
Mayor Lorenz and Kim and I have sat down several times, once or twice with coffee, not all the time. Sometimes it's just work, but believe that or not. But anyway, between all three of us, and then we had a real good meeting, I thought, Thursday night with 911, and we already started going through redoing the draft, and I don't know how many times we've redone the draft. 3 times, and then that was maybe the 4th time, and that's what I was talking about. We got some time here in this coming year to get that correct. So at this time, any questions or comments from our supervisors?
I would also like to comment that I believe my intent, and I think my fellow supervisors' intent would go along with that, but they can speak for themselves, is any change in this levy that goes from the general basic portion of the county's levy to the new 911 levy will be offset by a corresponding reduction in the county tax levy, so that this will be neutral to the taxpayer in the smaller communities. I cannot speak for the city of Marshalltown, but I do believe that our intent is whatever this levy increases anybody's property taxes by will be followed by a corresponding reduction on the property tax portion of the county.
That's true on our part, Dave. Yeah, appreciate that. If there's nothing else, I would entertain a motion then to adopt this resolution. It would be on page 5.
Mr. Chairman, I would make a motion to adopt resolution number 2017-0036, resolution providing written notice of withdrawal from the 2080 agreement between the Marshall County Joint Service Board and the Marshall County, Iowa, regarding operation of the Marshall County Public Safety Communications Center as of July 1 of 2018.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Mr. Chairman, I will second that.
If there's no further discussion,
I would like to say,
okay, yeah, jump in there.
Thank you for all the work that you have done on this, Mr. Patton. The first week that I started here, you were working with this, and it's been a kind of a personal goal for you, and it's kind of come to fruition here for you. So thank you for all the work you did on this.
It's, you work with good people. And I haven't really had a good opportunity to work on a project with Mayor Lorenz prior to this, but we've gotten to know each other a little bit more since then, so I do appreciate that opportunity. So thank you for bringing that up. If there's no further discussion, roll call vote, please.
Solosik.
Yes.
Patton.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion is carried. Moving on then to item number 12. Sheriff's Department extension to 28E agreement between Marshall County and the City of LeGrand for law enforcement protection. Discussion and possible action on the extension of a 28E agreement between Marshall County and the City of LeGrand for law enforcement protection within the corporate limits of the City of LeGrand. This agreement is effective July 1, 2017 to June 30th, 2018. The City of LeGrand agrees to pay Marshall County the sum of $23,880. I would entertain a motion to approve this.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Your turn. Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, I motion that we approve the extension to the 2080 agreement between Marshall County and the City of LeGrand, effective July 1st, 2017 through June 30th, 2018. The City of LeGrand agrees to pay Marshall County the sum of $23,880.
And I would second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? If not, roll call vote, please.
Solosik.
Yes.
Patton.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Okay, moving on to item number 13. Approval of final PPME union agreement. Discussion and action to approve the final union agreement for Secondary Roads Department and authorize the chairman to sign. This agreement is effective July 1, 2017 to June 30th, 2020. Chair would entertain a motion for this.
I would make a motion to approve the final PPME union agreement for secondary road departments and authorize the chairman to sign.
Is there a second?
Mr. Chairman, I will second that motion.
Been moved and seconded. We'll open for discussion. Is there any discussion?
The final approval of an agreement with the union that was for a 3-year contract that was ratified and approved earlier in October of this last year, when we're just finally getting the paperwork done and ready to go, and we're through with it for another 3 years.
Okay. David was our go-to guy on that, and I think it was done fairly easily. Actually, everyone looked at the things and discussed it and approved it within their group, like you say, last fall. So
all our union contracts, not only between the secondary roads with PPM&E and our other unions, went extremely well this last year. I want to thank both sides of the unions and their negotiators. It was smooth, it was easy, it was non-confrontational, and it's the way it should be.
if there's no further discussion, roll call vote, please.
Solosik.
Yes.
Patton.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Okay, motion's carried. Moving on then to item number 14, discussion only. This is the county purchase of insurance package by public bidding process. And David, can you help me out on this? I've never done this one before, but we have, go ahead.
We've been approached by more than one of the insurance carriers that do things with the county to open up the bidding process for the next section. We typically have gone out every 3 years for our insurance program. We did a 1-year extension on our insurance last year because we didn't want to be going through the insurance process with the massive election process that was going on, because this is very heavily burdened on our auditor and recorder's area. So we decided we were going to hold off on this public bidding for 1 more year. We need to start the process so that the respective insurance companies can do their due diligence and look at the request for proposal that will be put out for the public bidding, and we need to just get this package started and start the process.
So basically today, we're just making a public announcement that we are going to begin this week. Is that correct?
I would say that would be correct, and the next process is to let the insurance companies get together and work with the auditor and both the supervisors area to get a request for proposal out, and then we will put that request for proposal in the newspaper and make the appropriate announcements and time frame and let the respective companies do their bidding.
I realize that if someone wants to create a bid, sometimes it takes a couple of months to do that. And September is our date for looking at this and in completion. So it's important that we get started. Otherwise, we could hamper people working on this.
Absolutely. It's a real big job for all of the insurance companies that choose to make their bids. They got to do an awful lot of homework and dot their I's and cross their T's.
Okay. Any questions within our group here today in that regard? Okay. Very good. Thank you. Thank you, David.
You're welcome.
Let's move on to 15 then. Set time and place for public hearing and proposed vacation of a portion of road in Marshall County, Iowa. Petition 843, the Marshall County Board of Supervisors is in receipt of a petition requesting that a portion of road in Marshall County, Iowa be vacated. The proposed vacated road is described as all of 310th Street lying between sections 18 and 19, Township 83 North, Range 17 West, the 5th Principal Meridian, Marshall County, Iowa, except the east 514.5 feet thereof. So almost all of that road. The farmers have been contacted that are in use of this. It was their request that this come forth. They have done the legwork of bringing the paper in and having it signed, and we'll be going through that. I would accept a motion to set this date.
Mr. Chair, I would make a
Go ahead, Steve.
Mr. Chair, I would make a motion to accept set the date for July 25th, 2017 at 9:00 a.m. in Meeting Room 2, 3rd floor, northeast corner of the courthouse as the date and time for a public hearing to consider closing a portion of this road in Marshall County, Iowa.
Is there a second?
Mr. Chairman, I will second that.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion at this point?
I do have one question. Were all the neighboring property owners in favor of this?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, Mark?
They will get certified letters also.
And they will also get certified letters, yes.
We've heard of no
Okay.
objections at this point.
Yeah, there were two farmers, one at each end of this road.
Yep.
And then one more, and that's why there's 514.5 feet that is not going to be part of the vacation.
Okay.
It's an old dirt road,
The Class C road.
and if we vacate it, the farmers can do whatever they want to with it, and they use one end and they use the other end, and that's all from what I understand talking with the farmers. So this would be a benefit to them and a benefit to the county. So.
I have no further questions, Mr. Chairman.
Roll call vote, please.
Solosik.
Yes.
Patton.
Yes.
Thompson.
That was a yes, sir?
Yes, it was.
Okay. Motion is carried. On to item number 16, Resolution 2017-0037, abatement of mobile home taxes. Whereas pursuant to Chapter 445.16 Code of Iowa, the county treasurer has the authority to determine when it is impractical to pursue collection of property taxes through the tax sale or lawsuit remedies. Whereas upon making this determination, the county treasurer shall provide a recommendation of abatement to the Board of Supervisors, and the board shall abate the following taxes. 3202 South 12th Street, Lot 128, Marshalltown, Iowa, a mobile home described as a 1998 Dutch, VIN number 17456D, with delinquent taxes in the amount of $105, which includes penalty, interest, and costs. 3202 South 12th Street, Lot 58, Marshalltown, Iowa, a mobile home described as a 1993 Prestige, VIN PI 03684G, with delinquent taxes in the amount of $366, which includes penalty, interest, and costs. Now therefore be it resolved by the Marshall County Board of Supervisors that the amount due be abated, and the county treasurer is directed to strike the amounts due from the county system. I was just going to ask you, would you have any comments?
Mr. Chairman, I will motion that we adopt resolution number 2017-0037.
Is there a second?
And I would second.
Been moved and seconded to adopt this. Mr. Heil, do you have some comments during the discussion period here?
First of all, Mark, this mic is set for my height. These are two mobile homes. They do not exist in the county no longer, and it's very difficult and impractical to collect on taxes on something that's not here at this value. Questions?
Were they salvaged out, or they moved out?
They were moved out.
Moved out.
I think in the middle of the night.
In the middle.
Very good. By the way, I like your tie.
Thank you.
That's nice.
Thank you.
If there's no further discussion, roll call vote, please.
Solosik.
Yes.
Patton.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Motion has been approved. Moving on then to number 17, item number 17. This is the DevNet Incorporated discussion item. Request from DevNet Incorporated to discuss the proposed pilot project for Edge Maps product and how it can be used by Marshall County, Iowa for both internal and web use. I'm going to turn it over to John Cross, and you introduce your compadre.
Thank you. Thank you. On behalf of DevNet and Mike Sager, who requested this, we thank the board for allowing this opportunity. The goals of this presentation is informational only. We would like to let the county know, the board know, that what our pilot includes and what we've been doing, and why we want to go forward with this. So for the last 2 to 3 years, DevNet has been working diligently to integrate maps and GIS into all of its software. And then after we got it integrated, we went to each of our states to find a pilot partner that we could work with. We tried to put a pilot program together that would benefit both us and the county partner that we'd be working with. From our side, it helps the design for the state that we're in. For your side, for the county side, there's no cost to the pilot program. What we ask for is input and feedback on as we build these maps and how they can be used within our system for the county, for efficiencies, for whatever. At the end, if the Edge Map product were to be purchased by the county, it's greatly reduced to the county that was a pilot. If the county decides not to utilize or to purchase the Edge Maps, anything that we created on our website is left there for free as well. So the GIS mapping on the website would be left there for free. So that's the goals of our pilot process. And we have a county in each state now, except for Iowa. And actually, Marshall County is our only client in Iowa at this time. We just started in Iowa working. And so we're really hoping that we can show you how we utilize this. And again, it's just informational. So I'd like to turn this over to DevNet, to DevNet's Chief Technology Officer, Matt Bryant.
Again, thank you everybody for giving us this opportunity on short notice to give a short presentation. So like John said, we've been working on this extension to our product we call Edge Maps for about 2 years. Because the tax system is primarily location-based data, property data, and address data, we know that the county staff often wants to locate properties using a map, and oftentimes what they're having to do is pull up a county website and navigate a map in that manner. So what we've worked on is integrating maps directly into this system. So what I pulled up here, this is actually our assessor system from North Carolina. And so I have the ability to directly from within the system query or select parcels. I can select parcels based off a variety of criteria by names or owners, addresses, tax codes, in this case neighborhood codes. Once I have selected parcels, I have the ability to identify here. We have integrated Google Street View. We've integrated other photography. This is pictometry. All of these individual pieces can be put on multiple monitors. And so then from within this map, I can just very simply open up a parcel, and this will take us to our full maintenance screen. When you're on a maintenance screen, we also have a map tab. So this will allow us to look at the parcel that we currently have in focus. We can measure the parcel. We can turn on other GIS layers. Any of the county's photography would be available in these maps. And again, I can also, if I wanted to compare to a neighboring property, I can identify on this property and open up its maintenance screen. We also have maps that for analytical purposes. In this case, just do a quick search. So this is to look at assessed value. And so I've put in a search for property that was assessed at a certain value. Let this load. And so this is what we call a thematic map. So this is actually coloring the parcels based off of a value. So here, the darker the green color, the more assessed value this property has. And I can actually, this is, we call this a time slider. So I can actually go back and forth, look at prior year and current year. And then as parcels are appraised, this is going to fill out more. So this is a pretty valuable tool internally. We've designed other maps. So for the treasurer, we can have maps that show collection information in real time. Prior to an appraisal, we have maps that allow you to modify neighborhood boundaries. You can interactively throughout the program select parcels and assign them to a specific neighborhood. The last map I'll show here, this is from our pilot in Illinois. I've pulled up an agricultural parcel here. And as part of calculating taxes, we need the acreage value per soil type and per land type. And so this is something that typically, that these individual acreage calculations would be done external to our system. And so here I have, these are soil polygons of different types. I have the land type polygons, so we can have pasture and woodland, home site, cropland, etc. And so from directly within the system, I can say calculate. And this is going to go, and this is actually calculated the intersection of all these different layers and gotten the actual acreages and populated our tables here. And so it's very efficient. You're not having to export data and bring it back in. As John said, this does relate to the website as well. So currently, Marshall County uses DevNet's property search site. We call it Wedge. And that contract is going through 2019. So we have worked with the GIS department and IT department to add a map to that. With this Edge Maps pilot, the technology that we're using here actually allows us to publish or share any of these maps and this functionality to the web. So again, as part of the pilot, what we would want to do is find some good representative sample maps for each department to start, and then use a 6-month period to have feedback from the departments, not just in terms of the usability of the map controls themselves, but to get feedback on what types of maps they would like added to the system. And then that can also be a discussion on what maps we would want to add to the existing website. And then as Tom said, at the end of the pilot process, we can propose actually adding the product to the existing deployment of the DevNet Edge system in our property tax system. And if the county chooses, even if the county chooses not to purchase it, any of the web map components that we've added to the Wedge system, we can just keep those in place.
So this would take about 6 months to complete from start to finish?
So the pilot agreement asked for a 6-month period. We're willing to move faster than that. I mean, we can get moving immediately. We already have all of the components in place to deploy this to the county. In terms of all of the specific maps, we typically would start with, in most of our pilot counties, we're starting with about 5 different maps. And at least 3 per department. Well, there's some overlap. So any maps that are first allowing users to search for property, those will go into every department. And then if there's any maps that are unique to a particular department's workflow or their data, we want to get at least 1 or 2 in the department and then use that time to get feedback. For our North Carolina system, we've actually designed over 20 different unique maps for different departments. And so we would use that as a starting point. But we want to make sure that what we deliver is, Iowa specific.
Yeah, couple areas, a couple of questions. You're talking about the different maps.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, the assessor needs one thing,
Mm-hmm.
and Kim needs something else out there in her emergency disaster area. Those type of maps are both available in these other counties that you've worked with, and you've been able to do those type of maps.
So the DevNet has different products that all talk to the same database. So we have a property tax system, we have a CAMA system, recorder, collection system. So what we're going to do is integrate the GIS data, the polygon data into our system, and then we can publish out maps that link to any data that's currently in our system. So at for Marshall County, the property tax system and collection system and a recorder system. Recorder, it really depends on whether or not the documents are tied to a parcel or not. Oftentimes they're not at the beginning. But for something like emergency management, we can certainly share any relevant data that they would need.
What she would need. Now, you can speak. I'm not speaking for you, but just quickly, if there is a disaster, she needs pictures. Is that available through here? I mean, can she go out and determine what her damage is?
We would be serving the property data linked with DevNet, basically with any information about the property. So that would be owners, addresses, values. We do some of the information that she might be interested in would be coming from a CAMA system. So it would be structure information, building information. I believe you used a different vendor for that. It would be Vanguard. Any of the maps, though, that we're presenting here, we do have the ability to share those through, there's a platform we're using from, as we call ArcGIS Online. We can share through that platform. I don't know if emergency management is also on that platform. We have the ability to export the data, but we also have the ability to put this data on our property inquiry website. So certainly being able to search the website to find a specific parcel, you would have all of this data.
Okay, so real time, tornadoes last night, today, is there real-time pictures on that property?
Now, when you say pictures, are we talking about photography? Or,
Something, what do you need, Kim?
Well, usually what I'm pulling up from a database would be property values. I'd be going out and doing real-time surveys, and then I'd compare them to, like you said, property values, buildings that were there, so I'd know what was there. So, and his system wouldn't, or any system wouldn't necessarily have recent pictures. That would be done by a drone or
Okay.
by myself.
Okay.
but the property data you'd be looking for, we would be able to,
Right.
to provide that data.
See, you got to help me along sometime, because the computer technology is not my expertise, so that's why I got to ask dumb questions. Any further questions? Kim, you got any questions for me? Okay, I stopped you. Go ahead. You're done?
Yes, I am.
What would this system cost us?
The price is going to be determined based off of the number of maps, really, or the complexity of the maps.
What's the average cost of these other counties that you've got in the other states?
We're trying to not increase existing maintenance by more than 10 or 15%. Your current maintenance is just over $36,000 a year. The pilot agreement adds a discount to that over the life of the maintenance. And so, again, I'd prefer to give a specific number after going through a pilot and actually putting together a formal proposal. What I would say is you're already paying for maintenance on our website. This pilot not costing any money and giving us the ability to add more mapping functionality to that website. I'd say that the cost of integrating these maps all throughout the DevNet system should be comparable to purchasing a third-party GIS website.
Okay.
Is Wedge able to be used by the folks in Marshall County, citizens?
Right, and it already is.
It is
so,
now.
Right, so so if you go to the Marshall County Treasurer's website and do a property search, that is the DevNet website.
That's the DevNet,
Right,
okay.
and so and the benefit of using the DevNet website is our philosophy is basically any data that's in the database, you know, that you are wanting to put out to the public, we will add to the website. You know, it's not a templated product that, you know, we come in and say this is the only data that you're allowed to show. We also allow the ability to search previous tax years. To my knowledge, there haven't been complaints about the existing website. We did add a map that will allow, when you search a specific parcel, it will zoom to that parcel on the map. You can look at photography. This was worked with the Marshall County GIS department. They actually put the map together. So I think adding additional mapping functionality, similar to what we're going to be adding internal to the system as part of the Sedge Maps, that is going to be available. So giving the public the ability to have more search options, look at more GIS layers. That will be added. One thing that I would add, though, is typically we've seen counties will put together a website for showing map data or searching, selecting map data, oftentimes for their own county staff. So the desktop software they're using for day-to-day property maintenance and in the treasurer's office or in the auditor's office or the recorder's office, because it doesn't have a map, they're pulling up a GIS website and they're effectively just going back and forth between these two systems. And because of that, the user requirements on these websites are often overkill for the public. It may be adding tools specifically for more of a business practice. And by integrating these maps within the actual software, then I think we can, take a fresh look at the website itself and say, okay, from a GIS perspective, what are we really wanting to put in front of the public, or what does the public need, or what do real estate agents need? It's no longer really a concern of the individual departments within the county.
I don't know if this is an age issue, but I have heard from numerous citizens saying they have a hard time navigating the website for looking at different lots, different homes. If you ask them why are they doing it, because they want to. They want to know what's going on down the other end of the lot. Like I said, it may be an age issue, but there is some difficulty in navigating that. That may be something we can address later on, but I just want to throw that out.
And that may be, an argument for a better map. Just they'd prefer to look at the properties purely from a geographic perspective. They can find their house, they can navigate up and down the street.
Possibly, yeah.
Right, and so, and again, I think, this pilot is twofold. It's adding better integrated maps within the system for the individual county workers, and then also using this technology to put better maps on the existing DevNet website.
Yeah. David, do you have any questions? You're kind of out here in left field.
Nope, I have no questions, but I'd like everybody to know that James has got this streaming on my tablet, and I've been able to watch the entire presentation just like I'm sitting there. This is wonderful.
I was feeling sorry for you, but no, I'm not now. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
The next test is for us to have this camera going both ways, but then I'm going to have to probably shave and be ready for the meeting.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Steve, any questions?
No.
Any questions from anyone in here?
On the maintenance agreement, 36,000, does that cover just our maps portion, or is that our whole?
That's your entire system. So that's tax, recorder, and the website.
So 10% of that would be 3,600.
Right. And so we'll take a look at exactly, based off of the pilot, a cost. We're not going to increase you, beyond 10%. There is a discount as part of the pilot agreement. So it's, our goal is to, not necessarily, make a big profit off of this, from Marshall County. The goal is to determine what is the best product for Iowa, and then to be able to use Marshall County as our lighthouse example and go to other counties within Iowa. And so the sooner and the better we can really get a representative example of everything that we can do with integrating GIS within this system, the better we think.
Yeah. Just curiosity. You're in other states and other counties. How many counties are you involved in then with our mapping program here?
So we have 2 in North Carolina, and then for our pilot process right now, we've got 1 in Illinois, Missouri, Pennsylvania, and Ohio. So it's this is really right. It's a beginning process here, and any new contracts that we're signing, this is actually typically proposed to be part of the contract. It is a separate line item in the maintenance. It's effectively an extension to the software, so it's it's not a requirement of the tax system or the treasurer system.
Okay. John, you have anything else you want to say?
I just wanted to say thank you guys very much.
Yeah.
So thank you guys very much for your time.
Certainly.
We appreciate it.
Thank you for coming.
And let us just if you have any questions later, don't hesitate to call us.
Anything else? I didn't mean to cut Matt off here, but I just wondered.
No, we really again appreciate you giving us the opportunity to share this, to have a discussion. It was very short notice.
Okay.
So thank you.
Yep. Thank you. You bet. Moving on then to item 18, public forum is a time set aside for the public to make comments on topics of county business other than those listed on this agenda. No action will be taken on these topics brought up in the public forum. Anyone speaking to us? at us.
Just give a brief update on, we had the tax sale last week, which we completed. We had 462 bidders. We offered $330,000 of taxes, and all of it was purchased except for $17,000. Most of those are mobile homes, and it was 14 mobile homes and 11 other real estate properties. So fairly successful tax sale. We had a new feature that DevNet created that had it a lot easier for the bidders, where the bidder number and item number and all that popped up on the screen, so we were able to roll through it a lot quicker as we were rolling on it. So it's a very successful sale, and I want to get that out.
Yep.
Thanks.
Thank you. Yep, that's a lot of work, I know. Okay, if no one, Mr. Thompson, do you have anything else before we shut you off?
I would like to publicly thank our IT department for making this meeting work today. I've been able to watch everything on the tablet. Tell James the experiment has worked wonderfully, and we look forward to the next step of taking this to the next level. And I'm going fishing.
Okay. We're happy that you gave us part of your day. Appreciate that, sir. The next regular session is July 11, 2017 at 9 a.m. All business to be acted upon at that session shall be submitted to the county auditor and recorder's office or Board of Supervisors office by Thursday, July 6, 2017 at 1 p.m. There being no further business to come before the board, a meeting is adjourned at 10:12 a.m. Thank you for coming.